Breaking developments in a case that's shaking the geopolitical and digital spheres across continents. Finnish authorities are currently reviewing a request to extradite Simon Ekpa, a polarizing figure in the ongoing Biafran separatist controversy. No final decision has been made. What could this mean for Nigeria? For the diaspora? For international law and digital incitement? Let's break it down. Simon Ekpa, a dual Finnish-Nigerian citizen and self-proclaimed Prime Minister of the so-called Biafra Republic government in exile, is at the center of an ongoing legal review in Finland. Reports initially suggested his extradition had been approved by the Päijät-Häme District Court in Lahti, Finland, with a transfer potentially scheduled for July 15th. However, Finnish authorities have since clarified that no final decision has been concluded. The situation remains fluid and highly contested. Ekpa has long positioned himself as a figure of resistance and self-determination, but critics argue that he's far from a freedom fighter. His rhetoric and online broadcasts have been tied to an uptick in violent attacks, kidnappings, and social unrest in southeastern Nigeria.
I'm the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic.
Our aim and objective is to completely eradicate Nigeria. And of course, we are going to have a test of what is to come after December 2nd.
We are going to also make sure that Biafrans carry a heavy crusade on those locations. We fight them diplomatically, we will fight them politically, we will fight them internationally, and of course, we will fight them locally.
We will burn Nigeria down.
This is a life and death matter.
4 different mechanisms and different approach to fight this freedom, which has never been done in the past. 1 is the political approach, 2 is the diplomatic approach, 3 is the armed struggle self-defense approach, and 4 is this civil disobedience, which sit at home is part of it. So these 4 different mechanisms is what we're using to delegitimize and fight Nigeria to our freedom. And it's working perfectly.
The sit-at-home order continues to witness total compliance since it was first announced on July 30. Proscribed group Indigenous People of Biafra say the order will continue until its leader Nnamdi Kanu is unconditionally released. This means schools, markets, commercial banks and some government institutions in the southeast are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Citizens who dare open for business are attacked, with some reportedly killed. But while they obey the command, socio-economic activities in the region are crippling.
The sit-at-home syndrome have been going on. It has been impacting on people because we personally, we find it difficult to feed our family. The road is virtually empty, no vehicle, no transport. You cannot move. You cannot track the whole lot. Fears of attack impacted in the whole thing. It is people, you wouldn't know where you'll be attacked. You wouldn't know where you'll be attacked. You wouldn't know who is who.
This sit-at-home, as the people who are just they born, now from Emene or from Okpa they come. No, if you no sell, you no go eat. Now you make everybody they suffer. If you no sell, you no go eat. For hungry, we keep person because yesterday and today, the thing they suffer some but people. I beg, may they help us. May they help us. May sit-at-home. May no they too much again. I beg.
Now here's where it gets even more complicated. Many news outlets have inaccurately labeled Ekpa as a factional leader within the indigenous people of Biafra, or IPOB. But IPOB themselves have gone on record to say, and I quote, Simon Ekpa runs his own network of criminals and kidnappers. His actions have nothing to do with IPOB's ideology of non-violence. Ekpa is known to operate what he calls the autopilot faction, which has been linked to a militant offshoot called the Biafra Liberation Army, or BLA. This group has allegedly enforced deadly sit-at-home orders, orchestrated kidnappings, and even assassinations, effectively paralyzing entire regions.
Remember also that people have chosen willingly on their own to sit at home in solidarity with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. It's not our making. Even in numerous occasions, IPOB has called for the lifting of sit at home. But people said, no, this is the only weapon we have. We need to sit at home until Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is released.
Is the place of Simon Ekpa in IPOB?
He is not a member of IPOB. He does not represent IPOB either. People should understand that. It's not as if Mazen Namdekan is incommunicado. We can always reach out to him. And of course, most of the instructions come from him. And his order is final as long as IPOB movement is concerned. People have seen the entire movement, as a huge merchandise. And therefore, they are cashing out on that. So they can come up and say whatever they want to say. They can allege that Mazen Namdekan is my leader. And they keep extorting people and frustrating the entire business environment.
Emmanuel Kano, younger brother to Namdi, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and spokesperson of the family, says such order never emanated from IPOB.
We are not part of that process. The reason why IPOB is for the good of our people. We have not come to cause them pain.
They know now the Kano is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Who is the idiot? Who is the back?
After months of surveillance by Finnish authorities, Ekpa was arrested in Lodi in November 2024. Authorities claim that he used social media, platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, to broadcast messages that directly incited violence in Nigeria. Some of these messages allegedly triggered deadly attacks against civilians and Nigerian security forces. Four other individuals were also arrested, allegedly financiers and digital collaborators in Ekpa's global network. And this is where it becomes an international legal landmark. Even the consideration of extraditing a foreign national for online incitement of violence halfway across the globe is rare, and could set a precedent for digital accountability. Legal experts say the case raises complex questions. Extradition in the European Union, especially when it involves dual citizens and politically sensitive allegations, is never straightforward, says Dr. Lena Koskinen, a Helsinki-based international law scholar. Finnish courts will have to weigh Nigeria's request against human rights guarantees under EU law, including protections around political persecution and fair trial standards. Under EU extradition laws, particularly the European Convention on Extradition and relevant Finnish legal frameworks, several criteria must be met. The alleged crimes must be recognized in both countries, dual criminality. There must be assurance of a fair legal process. The extradition cannot be politically motivated. The individual's human rights must not be at risk upon transfer. If any of these conditions raise red flags, the extradition request can be delayed or denied. This is why, despite the gravity of the charges, extraditing Ekpa is not a guaranteed outcome. His legal team is reportedly preparing to argue that the case is politically motivated, and that his safety could be compromised if returned to Nigeria. Finnish courts will likely take months to weigh expert testimony, government assurances, and broader geopolitical concerns before making a decision. Should the extradition move forward, Ekpa would be expected to face multiple charges in Nigeria: terrorism, incitement to violence, conspiracy, and crimes against the state. Legal analysts say that if the trial proceeds, it could be one of the most closely watched in Nigerian history, with both domestic and international human rights observers tracking every development. Will Ekpa be held accountable? Or could this become a flashpoint for renewed separatist agitation? Only time will tell. Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only. All individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The views expressed in official statements by IPOB or government representatives are theirs alone, and do not reflect the views of this channel. We strive for accuracy and welcome all factual corrections. This is a developing story, and you'll want to stay informed. So if you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more political deep dives and global justice updates, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next upload. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should governments hold digital agitators accountable across borders?